Hey, Goodbox here. So, as you may know, the NFL and Players Union had a vote up to agree to extend Madden's exclusivity deal for 5 more years, potentially 6, depending on incentives. And it was voted on today and agreed to. So, it's done, right? We had a hope for a while that 2K was going to kind of get in there and be allowed to make a simulation game starting the year after this. And that is not the case. 2K can still make their game, whether it be a mobile game, non-simulation. Now, what falls into non-simulation is up for debate. Will like a My Park type deal happen, or will that be like NFL Street back in the day? Like, how widely away from like real life does it have to be for simulation, or can it just not be 11 on 11? That's who knows. We'll see that when they come out and start marketing. But I want to talk about this deal, my thoughts on it, exclusivity deals, in gaming. Like, we see this a lot with like clothing brands, so it's nothing new with like the NFL giving like this exclusive beer distributor of the NFL, or exclusive cup manufacturer, exclusive dip, exclusive eye patch, exclusive fucking didn't Microsoft tablet get in a big shit over a few years ago because the announcer kept referring it to as iPads or something? But like, they got so many exclusives. It's like a movie theater that is kind of like on the hippie side of town that just like plays these like small little indie movies. Off the point. So, NFL, Madden, EA signed the exclusive deal for $1.5 billion over the next 5 years, according to this article. The interesting thing, so sources say the deal is worth at least $1 billion to the NFL and $500 million to the players. The deal also includes at least $500 million in marketing commitments over the years. Now, I don't know if the marketing commitments are on top of these commitments. In case $2 billion over 5 years, for those who math it up, EA is basically committed $400 million a year, if that marketing commitment is on top of the rest of it, to Madden. $400 million. So that's how much, at least, plus a lot more, that we provide them in microtransactions, game sales. You could sell, they sell $7 million a year according to Clint Oldenburg, and it's at $60 a pop, which they probably don't sell them all for 60. But that itself doesn't quite reach the number. So like the microtransaction on top of it, and then you got to go like, hey, what kind of profit we seeing for EA? They got stock bonuses, stock to buy back, G5 Gulf jets to buy for their CEO, CFO, COO, all that good stuff. So what kind of revenue are they getting from us? We don't know. They kind of obscure it along with all their other microtransaction revenue and their statements. I went over that with their year-end call in that video a few weeks back. But $2 billion for 5 years, and then if they hit certain goals, they would get an extra $1 million or 1 year extra on top of it. Sorry. So EA does he at $400 million a year now in commitments? It's kind of a step up, because before this, I had heard and I thought I'd seen, and I looked and Googled it, and I was kind of close to it. It was like $20 million a year to the players, because that was kind of like they were kind of banking that for any kind of holdout. So it went from 20 mil a year, and maybe I'm wrong, all the way up to 100 mil a year for the players, which is crazy, the expansion. Now, they last time they signed this, I think it was a few years ago. I know they re-signed in 2013. They might have signed one more time between 2013 and now, but they've been extending it every few years. So it's nothing we haven't seen before. We get devastated every few years that it keeps getting extended exclusive. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm glad that they're working with the NFL. I just want more competition. I think that's the biggest crux for consumers. And I've talked about this before, like, consumers, we get like into something when it's good, right? Game of Thrones, we were really into that when it was good. But by the end, it got crappy, and everybody kind of forgot that thing's like a big fandom, or it was, and it kind of just killed itself getting bad. So Madden itself being bad makes fandom worse for the NFL. And that's something I don't think like the big brass of the NFL, all they see is dollar signs. They don't see, hey, if we have competition and those guys actually do a really good job and start feeding and making and upping themselves one after another, one after year, people are going to grow to love the NFL more. People playing your game as a video game allows your audience to grow, to fall in love deeper with the sports, with the players, with the teams. But if they put out like a crappy product, which a lot of people have been saying about Madden for many years, the love kind of goes away. So I feel like they're almost shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah, they have a lot of dollar signs up front. Like, you see $1.5 billion plus the marketing commitments, you're like, wowzers, yes, give me that. I need money now. I'm a billionaire, but I want more. So they don't seem to have the long run focus, and like the fans in mind, which, you know what, it is a business at the end, and that's kind of how businesses are done now, is on a quarterly basis. So with that, I mean, you could compare it to like ESPN's mega contract signed, like I think it was like 2011 or something when it was signed for their Monday Night Football rights, just as kind of like a last one that people said ESPN really screwed up on that. That was 15 billion, right? This one's only 1.5 and then up to 2, it looks like, for the rights there for the video game. So I don't know. Is ESPN making more money off football broadcasting it than Madden is off the video game product? It sure seems that way if the 8-year contract was 15 billion and a 5-year contract is 1.5. But that's the way it breaks. Just like, I almost think they're getting a deal, but maybe I'm just so focused into video games that I can't imagine how much TV makes, because they're killing it. Although ESPN's had to cut a lot of staff. But here's the thing, like, EA itself has cut some staff, right? We lost Mutt Guru, the community manager. Off the 500 people got laid off from EA last year because they weren't good enough. Even though Madden's exceeding sales goals by a ginormous amount, they had to cut him anyways because the company needed more funds for stock buybacks, right? They bought back $2.1 billion in stock. They're laying it off. My biggest fear is okay, you think, all right, so much more investment now is happening into your rights. Okay, so you think, all right, maybe there's more pressure on them, more money riding on the whole franchise now, so you don't get into debt, so you don't screw it up, so you want to work harder to get that done, right? I don't think that's it at all. I thought about this on stream, I was talking with people, no, I think it's just business as usual, right? They run their company like a car manufacturer, not like a game manufacturer where you need to embrace the community, talk to us, kind of get feedback, see what's working, see what's not in the game, tweak it, that kind of stuff. I have a video about this with the beta and stuff, and watch that one, but they don't listen to us. They don't listen to us for shit. So EA clearly just wants our money. They don't care about us. They'll fire staff if sales of other games go down, not even Madden. They'll use the Madden money to buy back stock. They use it to fund an NBA Live game. And, it does feel kind of disturbing because they have the exclusive license to kind of neglect football fans. So in the end, it's just kind of more of the same, right? More of the same. EA business as usual. We'll still have the same crappy gameplay going into next year. Franchise being forgot about, even though that's literally what the NFL is about. That's the fucking simulation is franchise mode. So, yeah, ain't shit changing. EA just has to write bigger checks to the NFL and the NFLPA. And the gamers kind of get the short end of the stick again, not getting a 2K game to compete with Madden. It's not that I want Madden to go away. It's just I want competition to hit this market. That's literally what we've been founded on. But EA, you're the exclusive video game producer of the NFL. So cheers to you, and here's to another 5 bug-filled years. Damn, it's sad.